Hey, y'all. Okay. So I am back. I need to release this prophetic word. God has been giving me so many messages. I'm late. I feel like I'm late releasing this, and He's giving me so many messages. So I'm just going to try my best to share with y'all what He's been putting on my heart this past couple of weeks, okay? I'm just going to title this one Update. It's time to get back up, okay? It is time to get back up. All right, y'all. If y'all see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes because it's a lot. So basically, before I talked to y'all, I was telling y'all how a lot of us, God was showing me a lot of us were going to be dealing with different temptations, different tests, and things of that nature. And Jesus is Lord. This is what I'm just going to share what I was basically dealing with. So at first I did deal with temptation. I had some tests or whatever where God exposed certain relationships to me. These were some core relationships to me, relationships that were really, really close to home. And in the process of doing so, it just, he showed me he was finalizing the separation process, okay? This past year or so, where we've been in these uncomfortable places, he's been purifying us. But he's also been doing a lot of testing too, but also finalizing the separation process for a lot of us as well by exposing, different people around us. And so for me, this was like close to home for me, right? So after this took place for me, I did deal with some temptation, like we talked about. And the way the enemy normally tries to come for me is with man in my life, right? So he'll try to tempt me with man in my life. But I've grown. So I didn't really have any issues in this area. So the temptations came and, I politely declined, and that was that, right? So I'm thinking I passed the test, I'm over that or whatever. And, I'm thinking I'm basically done with that area of temptation, right? So shortly after that, y'all, what basically ended up happening, this is so long already. Shortly after that, what basically ended up happening was I started to get, the enemy started to come at me with things from my past. And I didn't even realize I was under attack until he already had, laid his blows. Like he already had did the damage. I didn't even realize, I was still under attack at that time, right? So this was for testing as well. So I'm sharing this with y'all. So the enemy has to get permission from God. Just like, when he went at Job, he has to get permission from God to even come at us. And what God was showing me that whatever the attack is, it doesn't matter what it is. He kept showing me 828, like all things are working together for our good. So even if the enemy attacked you, whatever his intention was to harm you, God is going to get the glory out of it. Okay. When he started coming back at me, he was hitting below the belt. I'm talking these were things I thought I overcame a long time ago, right? These are things that I struggled with in my childhood. It's not even, I ain't gonna say I necessarily overcame them. It was things I struggled with throughout my life, a lot of them during childhood. And, you know, they were repetitious for a minute, and then I just, stopped doing them or whatever. And just bad habits I didn't pick back up for whatever reason. And so what God basically showed me was I thought those areas from the past weren't an issue, right? We're talking about self-sabotage or self-destruction behaviors or just different things. So some of y'all, he could have tempted y'all with lust. He could have tempted y'all, in that area and say that didn't work. He could have moved on to the next. All right. He could have hit some of y'all vices, some of the things that y'all have struggled with, some self-sabotaging behavior or something like that, right? He could have hit you in that area. And just different things. And I pray God, the Holy Spirit brings it to mind, whatever that thing is, or you already know what you're dealing with. So you already know what I'm talking about. So anyways, he hit me with some stuff from the past that I didn't even know was still an issue, y'all. And y'all, I am like, I'm like really, really sensitive. I've always been like really, really sensitive. I've always have felt things on a deeper level. Um, and it's some things I still need to heal from my past, right? God has healed me a lot, but there's still more things I need to heal from. And so I was just struggling emotionally. I was struggling emotionally. I didn't want to make no video. I felt inadequate, like too inadequate to make a video. I felt back in that place before I surrendered to God, where I was just begging him to please choose somebody else, right? And I'm sharing this because some of y'all were attacked in the same way. You may have passed the attack, when he tempted you with lust or temptation. And you may have passed those different attacks or temptations, but then he hit you here, or whatever, wherever area he hit you in. And so, y'all, I had got to a place where I was just feeling so super low, to where I didn't think I could come back from it, right? But God, basically, right? And so I was still talking to God every day. I was still praying to God every day, and asking him to help me. And what he showed me with the enemy's attack, what it basically did, and I mentioned this before, the enemy can't stop what God is doing for us. The things that God has promised us, he can't stop that from taking place. So what he wants to do is stop us from getting to it. He wants to stop us from crossing the finish line. So he can't stop God from like giving it to us. He can't stop that thing from coming, but he can try to stop us from reaching it. If he can get us to turn around, if he could get us to quit, right? And he know what time it is. So that's why the attacks were so heavy, because he was trying to get you to quit. And so, anyways, y'all, so long story short, God was just showing me that even though the enemy meant this for your bad to destroy you, you're coming out of this. Some of y'all have already started to come out of it. And if you haven't, you are about to. You're about to, okay? And what he was showing me for my situation, it was like the enemy was trying to destroy me with this, but what it did, the good that came out of it was God shed light on some things for me that I didn't realize. And because of my past and because of the things I've been through, there were still things I was struggling with inwardly, like doubt and unbelief. And so all the attacks did was shine light on the doubt and unbelief that I was struggling with on the inside, to where God had to ask me the question if I really believed that he loved me as much as he says he loves me, It shined a light on some very important details and aspects of our relationship, of how much I trusted him. Jesus is Lord. Yeah, I got abandonment issues too, look. And so it was just different things that God had to show me, that I truly hadn't known his love yet, or trusted his love yet, or believed his love in a way that I should. You know what I'm saying? And so anyways, y'all, I don't want to stay too long on that, but whatever your situation is, all this was meant to do was to the enemy meant to take you out, to destroy you, to stop you with this thing, right? But God still's getting something good out of it, because he's showing you that this area was still a problem. Before, you didn't know it was still a problem. These things were from my past. I didn't even think they would still be an issue. I didn't even think they had any hold over me. But he was like, you didn't know this thing was still an issue. You didn't know this was something you still had to overcome. And having an understanding of the enemy, our enemy, he's roaring around looking for someone to devour. So if one thing don't work, he just gonna try something else. And that's basically what he did. So anyways, y'all, that was it. That was basically that part of the message. God was just saying and shedding light on, I guess, just wanted me to share for anybody who's feeling alone. If you've been going through these constant attacks, that you're not alone, that we've all been going through this, and that you're coming out of it. It's time to come back from it. And God is going to give you the energy you need to come back from this thing. And he said it's time to get back up, basically, okay? Okay, y'all, so that was the message. It's time to get back up. The other day, I actually had a customer who I had to deliver flowers to. And they were multicolored roses. It was a bouquet of red, yellow, and pink roses. And I had two customers actually. One was name was Ashley, and I heard God saying He was trading us beauty for our ashes, and it's time to receive your flowers. And y'all, I also saw a train that night too. So when y'all come from this stuff, when y'all come out of, what y'all been going through, y'all are basically going to be unstoppable, right? Y'all are going to be unstoppable. What the enemy meant for your bad, God is going to turn it around and use it for your good. So once you come up out of this thing, once you come up out of that place, know God forgives you, know He loves you. This thing, whatever it was you had to overcome, God needed light to be shined on it, right? You needed this temptation to happen to shine light on it, that the fact that it was still a problem. So it needed to be addressed so you can move forward, basically, okay? Because what would happen is the enemy would just try to harm you later in the same area. He would come at you later in the same area, right? So, but He said, get ready, because He's about to trade you beauty for your ashes. You're about to receive your flowers. And when you come up out of this thing, you're going to be unstoppable, right? You're going to be unstoppable, stronger than ever. And I can't tell y'all, like, I'm the way I was feeling, I didn't think I could come up out of there. And I'm still like, right now, I'm feeling real tenderhearted, but I'm just feeling so much. And honestly, I have so many words that God has put in me to release. And so I'm feeling extra sensitive, like I'm about to explode too. So, but that was basically this message. So if you haven't come out of it, you're about to. Know that God loves you. Know that He loves you. Know that He still loves you. Know that He still loves you. He also said the truth will set you free, okay? He said the truth will set you free. Some of y'all have been held back by the lies of the enemy. That's something I was dealing with as well. The enemy was just throwing out all these lies. And what happened, what really got me, is when I started to believe them. But you know the truth. We know the truth of God's love for us. We know the truth of God's word. We know the truth, right? So He said the truth will set you free as well. And if you're still being held back by these situations, Jesus is Lord. You got to be honest with yourself about whatever the thing is you're facing. You have to be honest with yourself about if this thing is really harming you, or if it's good for you, or if that relationship, say you entertaining a counterfeit, if that relationship is harming you, or will it actually go the distance? Because if it doesn't have God's approval, you're not going to have no peace in that thing. And that's the truth of the matter. So you're just wasting your time. And God is not going to change His mind, regarding that person. So, but anyways, that was it. That was basically the word. That was basically the word that He gave me, just to encourage somebody. It's time to get back up. And when you get back up, you're going to be stronger. You're going to be stronger. He's going to trade you beauty for ashes. And He said, get ready to receive your flowers. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget nothing else. But y'all, yep, that was basically it. That was basically it. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all, and y'all be blessed. Okay, y'all, I need to add this to something I left out. There were two, there's been some prophetic dreams that God had me re-release recently. I either shared them on my community page if you're on YouTube, or I just reshared them. If you're on TikTok. But basically, there was a dream about the name change. He said your name has been changed, right? Something God was showing me from this situation. A lot of y'all who are coming out of that space where y'all just been tested, you dealt with a whole bunch of temptation. It's been hard, right? It's been hard. As you come out of this thing, when I first heard Him say that you're coming back stronger, right? He referenced the dream about the name change. It's going to be as if your name, once you come out of this thing, you're going to be coming out receiving a brand new name, a whole new name, because this thing will no longer have power over you. This thing will no longer, have the control it's had over you. All the enemy did as he tried his best to destroy you, all he did was help God to shine light on something that you needed to know was a problem, that you needed to be fully set free from. Okay. Another thing he mentioned, that perception, he always tells me this, that perception is everything. It's everything. The enemy tries to make things look one way, right? He tries to give us a negative perception of certain things in our life and things that we go through. And if you come in agreement with these things, God, it will drain you of all of your strength. You know what I mean? It will drain you of all of your strength. We have to remember that we're in a war. We're in a war. And the person we are warring against, which is the enemy, the devil, or whatever, he's literally trying to destroy us. So we can't come in agreement with our opponent. we can't come in agreement with our opponent. It's not even logical in a sense at all. So God was basically saying, when you come out of this thing, you're going to be stronger than you were before. And you will experience a name change. A shift will occur. Also, if y'all have not been being obedient, I don't care if it's the smallest, simplest thing, jump on that. Yeah, I'm throwing everything in here because things are about to change so swiftly. So swiftly. And I've already been seeing it and experiencing it. And I feel it so strong in my spirit. Things are about to change so swiftly. And he's done his part to prepare us. Okay. So if it's the simplest thing he told you to do, just knock that out. There's a shift on the other side of that. He also led me to, I have it pinned on my TikTok page, the dream about things are coming full circle, right? Things are coming full circle. Make sure you get the lesson. And in that dream, it was talking about the gifts. There were gift bags in that dream. There were so many gift bags he had spread out like all over the gym in that dream, where they were literally waiting for us. And he was just waiting for us to get the lesson, waiting for us to be obedient to whatever he was telling us to do, right? And he said there's a shift on the other side of our obedience, okay? God is not trying to tease us. He is not trying to, you know, he's not cruel. He's not cruel. He's not dangling this promise in front of you just to keep telling you no or keeping it from you. He doesn't get any joy out of seeing you you in pain. Right? He doesn't get any joy out of that. Something else I'm gonna add real quick, and this just gonna have to be long, but I love y'all. I hope y'all love me too. But something he had to show me, because I'm like, Daddy, why do you keep showing me this stuff? Sometimes he'll show me this stuff and I can literally feel it. And I feel like this promise is about to happen like that for me. This has happened for me several times. And then it doesn't happen in the time frame I'm thinking it's going to happen. And I'm like, why did I kind of be feeling like, why did you even show me again? Just let me know when it's time. Because then I told God told me to be real, because I just be quiet. And then he had to tell me to just say what's on my mind. And I'm like, why not just show me when it's time? Because I be feeling a little teased, right? And what God showed me this a lot of times, like I said, he helps me better understand him as a father through my relationship with my daughter. When he keeps bringing these things to mind for you, giving you words about these things, giving you excited to where you can literally feel it, giving you dreams about it, when he does that, he's not trying to tease you. Okay, this is the reward system, just like I do with my daughter. I will give her, like, I tell my daughter, if you get all A's, or if you do this, that, or what, if you do this or get all A's or whatever, this is your reward. I'll have this for you. If you do this, do that, you'll have a reward, right? And say I tell her this the first time she gets this game she wants, right? Say she's not doing what I told her to do to receive the reward. Because there's some actions, there's some steps that she has to take to get to it. Say she's not doing it, right? I might remind her. I'm going to show her the reward again. Look, Pumpkin, it's a picture. I'm going to remind her, you get this if you do that, right? So it's like a reminder. It's an incentive. So when he's showing this stuff to you and bringing it back to mind to you, it's not to tease you. It's like, this is your reward. He's reminding you, this is what you're fighting for. This is what you're headed towards. It's an incentive reminding you of that thing that you actually really do want. But what happens is we start listening, we start obeying, we start doing the thing that he told us to do. Then the enemy comes in and he distracts us, or he attacks us. And then we get discouraged and we just stop. And then we're looking like, where's the reward? But we stopped. We stopped. It's like you're crossing the bridge and you stop once you get partially there. And what God promised you is on all the way on the other side, but you got to keep walking to get there. You can't just stop, right? Because it's a distraction. Maybe a bird fly over your head and you distracted and you just stop. And even when you get hit, we have to get back up and keep going. We have to keep going and get there, okay? I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know if that was for somebody. I just had to add that, okay? But he said, your name has been changed as well. Coming out of this thing, you're going to be stronger than ever. Then also, something else he had me put in my notes to pay attention to y'all dreams, y'all. I have a lot of dreams, so I have a pretty lengthy dream log. And lately he's been bringing up old dreams. And so when he brings up old dreams to me, I go back and listen to him. And he's been blowing my mind left and right, because the old dreams I went back to listen to, they had instructions in them for right now. So I'm talking dreams I had 1 or 2 years ago. There's dreams I had where God was giving me instructions on what to do. And when I woke up, I couldn't remember the instructions. I'm like, well, what was I supposed to do? But when I listened to the dream in full, the instruction was in the dream itself. Like, God. And I'm just praying you get that for whoever this is for. So if God is bringing old dreams to mind, if you have a dream log and he's bringing a dream to mind, if you don't have time to look up that dream at that moment or listen to it, write a note to yourself and go back and listen to that, because there are instructions that God has already given us ahead of time for this current season that we're in or walking into, or he's giving you the instructions now in your dream. So just pay attention to that as well. But anyways, y'all, that was it. I just had to add that because it's in my notes. All right. All right. I love y'all. I love y'all. Y'all be blessed.